So, where do Ivy League graduates work after college? I would say there are generally 4 different groups of students that work as far as career opportunities goes, and I would really categorize them into 4 different buckets. The first bucket is definitely going to be investment banking and consulting. Students who would like to stay in New York or work on Wall Street, there's definitely a fair share of those of Ivy League graduates who work in investment banking and consulting and make a great living, a high salary, working their first year at Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs. With that being said, this is an incredibly competitive route. It's also highly prestigious if you work at Goldman Sachs. I actually worked there for about a year, where I was also doing stuff in investment banking and asset management, and it was an incredibly rewarding experience, but I ultimately found my calling in education. The second bucket I would put students into is going to be Silicon Valley and tech. This is everything. You could become a graphic designer, you could become a software engineer, you could become a product manager, product marketing. You could also get into operations or UI UX design. There's a lot of different roles for tech. So if you want to work at Facebook or Google or one of these big tech companies, definitely go to Silicon Valley. I would say the smartest students from Ivy League schools or even Stanford, MIT, Caltech will work on Wall Street or will work in tech. The third bucket I would put into are medicine and law. So these are the more traditional routes before tech became big. Wall Street's been around for quite a while, but there are students who want to become doctors or lawyers, and this is a much more traditional route. So after attending an Ivy League school, they might pursue their law degree at another Ivy League school. Maybe it's Yale or Harvard, which are top schools for law, or they might pursue their MD at, say, like USC or UCLA out in the West Coast. And this is a more traditional route that students take. Obviously, the medical path is extremely long. You've got 4 years of medical school, 4 years of residency, maybe another year of fellowship, all after undergrad, and it's quite competitive. The last bucket I would put students in is, I would probably say, community service in the form of Teach for America. So Teach for America is a huge organization where after college, students will go to a country like Guatemala and teach students English or math and do some community or public policy work. And this is getting really, really popular because For America offers amazing opportunities for high school students. A lot of times they'll cover their salary, their cost of living, and you get to also travel to a totally new country and experience what life is like there. So that's another path that I see a lot of Ivy League students take. I would say, especially those who really want to make an impact on their community through traveling abroad as well as community service. If I were to choose of all the routes that I stated, Wall Street investment banking, Silicon Valley and tech, medicine and law, as well as Teach for America in community service, I would probably choose tech. I think you probably learn the most valuable skills there, whether you're a software engineer or product manager. You really get to learn how companies are built from the ground up. Whereas on Wall Street, you get more of an analytical hat. You get to learn how to analyze and invest in companies and how these companies will perform within our broader economy. Whereas in tech, you really learn how to build a company from scratch, especially in this digital age where there's billion-dollar startups coming out of Silicon Valley. So I hope this is helpful for those students who are looking to have their eyes set on Ivy League schools and are wondering what career paths to take after they graduate. We'll definitely be sharing more free tips and advice on the college admissions process. So if you have any questions, definitely give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be sharing more tips and advice and perspectives on college admissions.